Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here with us. We are very excited about our interview today. We will introduce Tonya Allen in a little bit more detail in a moment, but I first wanted to tell you about this series that Julie and I are starting. Tonya is our inaugural interview for the series. We're calling the series Women We Admire, and our goal in this series is to have an interview once a month, someone that we feature each month on across all of our social media. And our goal is to support and make others aware of these amazing women who are doing great things in our community. We also want to create an opportunity for people to hear more stories about women of color and their journeys to where they are now, because it's through people's stories that we gain a greater understanding and appreciation of their perspectives. And we hope to model what it can look like for women to celebrate other women. This is so important to Julie and me. You know, our belief is that every woman is responsible for reaching out to other women to do what we can to enhance their success. So Tonya certainly doesn't need our hands up because she is very successful on her own. But we're thrilled to have you here with us.
Yeah, so we want to kind of give our community a chance to get to know you a little bit. So we're going to start with some basic stuff and ask you some questions. And our first question has two parts, and I'll repeat them if you need me to. First, we want to hear about what you do professionally, so people kind of have that understanding of your professional life. And secondly, and related, what is it about your own personal experiences that led to where you are currently in your life?
Super. Well, I appreciate you having me today. And to be the first, I am just totally humbled. So I appreciate you. I am actually an executive coach now. A couple of years ago, I was in HR leadership at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama for over 20 years. And I had this desire that was tugging at my heart called Diane's Heart. It's a nonprofit I started in the memory of my mother. And so I left my HR career. I took the big leap, shaking, and jumped into full-time executive director for the nonprofit. And in the background, I was looking for a training program to put into the nonprofit, and I stumbled across Co-Starters of Birmingham. So I took the 10 weeks course, and through that course, I was advised, you need to, participate like you are starting a business. So what can I do? I can coach. And so I went through that validation program, and I ended up in 10 weeks with a company. I started a business called Follow Our Life.
That was your intention going into Co-Starters?
No, not at all.
Wow.
So I started Follow Our Life, which is my coaching practice. And I coach women. I really, really feel that we have assignments that we are supposed to be offering to the world. And so I help women really tap into what their genius is and what that assignment is so that they can fully step into and embrace their purpose and get paid for it. So that's what I do in that business. And then two of my close, great friends that I worked with at Blue Cross for years, over 20 years, Renee Washington, who is also a coach, and Gwen Hall, who is also, she's everything. Gwen is everything. She's a coach as well. But we started Career Triage HQ because we felt that so many women would reach out to us for career advice and direction and guidance. And so we created that company to help in that capacity. So I'm doing a lot of things.
Yes, you are. Not to mention being a mom.
Not to mention being a mom to two wonderful young adults. Both are in college. One is almost finished, and one is second year. So yes.
Wonderful. Well, so we wanted to definitely hear about your book, Diane's Heart, and about your foundation. And as we said on, before we went live, Lisa and I just love the structure of this book. And I'm just going to show it. It's called Diane's Heart, Transforming Loss to Purpose and Legacy. And it is a gem. It is like just chock full of great wisdom. And so tell us about sort of what propelled you to write the book and what you hope people get from reading the book.
So it started with me actually celebrating Renee on her book. She had just launched a book, and she called to say, my launch date is X date. It was sometime in September. And we've been friends for a long time. And I've had on the back page, and she did as well, that we wanted to write a book. Mm-hmm. And so when she told me that, I was celebrating her, and she literally says, "You need to write your book." Just like that. And it was like, newsflash. This was in end of 2020. And I was, I didn't have a rebuttal. I didn't have an excuse. So the path was there to write the book. And so I had sat with the story of my mother's death and how I was able to heal through my mourning process and come out on the other side with what I feel is a powerful outreach to single moms. Mm-hmm. And every time I would tell the story, people would just be enamored by the story. And so there was something about the story. And every time I tell the story, I feel like I'm pouring into people. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of that, I get filled up every time. Mm-hmm. And so I have a board member, Katrina Wilkins, who said to me, "You have to put pen to paper on this story." And so I had been doodling in my journal because I journal. I've been journaling. If you read the book, the sitting and looking section, my mother taught me to journal. When I started writing. So I've been writing lists and journaling forever. So I had these stories in a journal, and I just started listing them out, the stories that I loved about my mother. And that's kind of how the book came together. And so the goal here is to help people heal. We had a lot of COVID going on. Her death was very similar to COVID. The myocarditis, part of the COVID impact. There are a lot of people who are dying from that. And so there were so many similarities. So that was on my heart. I knew people needed to heal through that journey. So I wanted this book to help people to transform that hurt and pain into something that, could help others. Mm-hmm. And then I also wanted people to know that to change the world, you don't have to be out here, with a cape on and your bracelets like Wonder Woman. You just have to do the practical, simple things. And that was the beauty in my mother's love. It was the simplicity of it. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted people to know that. And then I wanted to share with the world my mother's heart, her beliefs. She was funny. She had great wit. She had wisdom beyond her years. Mm-hmm. And what she left in the earth was unfinished. And so I felt like it was my mantle now.
Love it. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And Julian, I want to ask you about a couple of things in the book that, stood out for us particularly. But before we do, I would like you to have a chance to tell the folks who are watching about the organization Diane's Heart, because this is not just a book. There's a whole organization that you've created that does amazing work.
Absolutely. So it is a nonprofit, and we support single mothers and their children. And we really teach single moms to grow and to reach for those big goals. It sounds a little corny, but the coaching piece is the biggest piece of our flagship program. So we just launched the She Knew There Was More coaching program. And it has just taken my whole heart. It has just really pulled at my heart. The moms who wouldn't necessarily have access to my coaching programs in my personal business, we offer it to them free, and they are soaking it up. And I am loving every minute of it. So we provide the training, the coaching, we provide resources to help single mothers really do exactly what my mom did, help others to grow in their jobs, in their careers. We have moms who want to start businesses, salons and daycare centers. So we are supporting them to get to what they know is more for them.
That's great, Tonya. It really is. And there are so many great lessons in the book. I want to pick out one that really resonated for me. I'm going to read to you what you wrote. That is, it takes a village to raise a child. Until we as a community or nation have that kind of concern and commitment to our neighbors and fellow citizens, we will never realize how truly powerful we can be. Talk to me a little bit about why this was such an important lesson to include in the book. It feels like a very timely message as well.
My mother was so focused on sharing. And so that is core to who I am. I don't even think about it. She was so afraid that as her only child that I would not be able to share. So it was fundamental. Everything was about sharing. And so when I reflect on her, I think, I was her only child, but I shared her with so many people and she would not have it any other way. And so I think that fundamental belief of sharing who you are and what you have, it makes us all stronger because we are created for connection. I have a gift or a talent that solves a problem for someone else. And your gifts and talents are there to solve a problem for me or to help me. And the more we really move in that direction to understand that, the more we open ourselves to be able to share our hearts, our belongings. We become to learn that, there's enough for everybody. No one has to starve.
Yeah.
If we share.
Yeah.
And that was her, her guiding principle through life. If I have 10, I can give somebody 5.
Yeah.
And it'll come back to me some kind of way.
Yeah, I love that. And along with sharing the lessons, what you also do in each chapter for people who haven't read the book yet is to provide really great practical suggestions to kind of follow up on exactly what you're talking about. So I want to read another excerpt from, this is on page 24, that really stood out for me. You say, provide access. If you're on a board or a member of a professional organization and recognize that there is no diversity, change that. Recommend and actively seek to include people of different races, gender, religion, and ethnicity to participate. So we, of course, love that and would love to hear any of your additional thoughts about ways that people can do that, to be strong allies for others, to make sure that they're sharing, their wisdom, their knowledge, their access.
Yes, that is so key for me because I don't think you can really get the perspective of another person unless you are up close and personal. It does not become your issue or your problem if you are, a distance away from it. So connection is key. And a lot of things, just because of how systems and structures are in our country, women of color may not have access. I had the fortunate opportunity for an executive vice president at Blue Cross. I was actually about to be laid off. We had a big layoff going on in our government entity side. And he just asked me, what are your plans? And I said, I'm going to do my nonprofit full time. And he just inquired, I didn't know you had a nonprofit. And we just started talking. And probably about 2 weeks later, he's introing me to someone on from a board that he's on. I ended up being on the board. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if he didn't provide the access. So I was able to learn so much about the back end of a board that helped me in standing up my nonprofit. And I count that as a blessing. And I don't think it, as a small offering. It's huge because it then exposes you to, or me, to a whole side of the world that I did not have access to before.
Yeah.
And it was to benefit children in this particular program that they offered. The parents were 90% single moms. So it's a direct connection. Direct connection. So that's how the world works if we really are interested in making the world work.
That's wonderful. I love that story. That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, I loved what you said about wanting people to know that you don't have to be wearing a superwoman cape with, your bracelets on to make significant change. And one of the things I think will be helpful for people to hear about is any challenges that you faced, or barriers to getting to where you are today. I think that we can look at you and say, oh my gosh, she's so put together. She has such poise. She looks great. She had this successful career. Of course, she went out and started a nonprofit, right?
And 2 other businesses and wrote a book.
Other businesses at the same time, right? But I think it's so helpful for us to share the realities as well, so that people understand what those challenges are. So, what is the biggest challenge that you faced to getting to where you are today?
When I look back through it, going through the process of trying to fit in when you really don't fit in. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that standing out really is what draws people to you, mm-hmm. at least the tribe that you really want to connect with and where you want to grow. And so once I was able to fill up, and this is a work in progress, when I really, really received in my spirit the true love, the love of who Tonya is, then I decided I'm going to fill up on that. And what other people think, it matters to some degree, but it doesn't trump the love that I have for myself, the love that I have for the things that I desire and the purpose that I believe I'm here to fulfill. And so that's kind of how I had to process it. But it really is a process. And it is about getting out of your head and trying to do what everybody thinks you should do, and getting really, really clear about what you want to do, and how you want to live your life in this world. There are always roadblocks. I've had to overcome, of course, perfectionism. My mother was an HR director. So, I've got to nail the interview. I've got to be polished. All of those things, you've got to check the box. But, really then I had to figure out, what's the authentic me? Where am I most comfortable? How can I deliver and connect and be the real me? And once you get to that point, I think everything starts to get clearer. And so it takes a while to get there. It took me a while to get there. And so when you're trying to have someone to say you need to fit in this box, and I can decide that's not the box for me. Mm-hmm. And so there's power in being able to have agency and choice. Mm-hmm. And it takes, especially in corporate America, for a Black female, it takes some time to really navigate that and figure it out. But once I did, it was like, bye.
Yeah. I think that what you're saying is so true, that often the biggest challenges are maybe some of our own internal challenges about how we see ourselves or how we think we're supposed to be. But as I hear you talking, what's going through my mind is your mom is smiling right now and like jumping up and down and clapping, because it sounds like you've come into your own, and you understand your gift and purpose in the world, and you're sharing it. And we're thrilled to be a part of that and to help you share what you have to offer. So yeah.
One might say, Julie, that she has transformed her success.
One might say that, yes.
Yeah. Great name for a program.
It
is. So we want to go ahead just for fun and ask you some rapid fire questions, just as a way to kind of get to know a little bit of a different facet of you. So are you ready for just a few questions? Okay. So the first question is, what leader, current or historical, would you most like to meet and why?
So I have a long list, but I will say Michelle Obama is at the top of my list right now. I have had the opportunity to meet her. Who was on tour. It was fascinating, but I want to have a conversation with her. Like, that's a different level. I don't just want to meet her. Yeah. I want to have a conversation. I want like book club with her, to go through her book. I just think she's fascinating. She's powerful. Mm-hmm. She knows who she is. I think her future is so bright in how she thinks. She's brilliant. And so I just would like to ask her a couple of questions.
Yeah. Well, can you invite me to that book club? Because I'd like to.
Absolutely.
Well, it strikes me that everything you said that you really, have come into, which is that sense of self and like such clear direction about what you believe and who you are. To me, she represents that. She's such a good, it's interesting that we just came off that question. And the person that you want to meet is someone who, one of her core attributes is living into what's really important to her and her values.
Wonderful.
That's a great connection, but that is exactly what I'm fascinated by.
Yeah. Okay, so what is one song that would for sure be on the soundtrack to your life?
Okay, that one right there is hilarious. I think it's Love on Top by Beyonce.
That is my daughter's most all-time favorite song.
You're kidding.
Loves it.
I'm a Beehive queen. I love Beyonce. That song to me, Love on Top, not only speaks to someone else putting, you first, but to me, it's just so empowering to know that I can put myself on top first. I've had to walk through, is it selfish? No, it's not selfish to put yourself, first. There are certain things and times that you have to honor about yourself. And so that song right there, yes, would be top on. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. That's awesome. All right. And final question. Who would you want to play you in a movie about your life?
Okay. That's a good one. Kerry Washington.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She even looks like you guys look alike.
I know. Totally. I can totally see that.
That is just such a great compliment. I will take it.
It is that one. Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I just think in all of her Olivia Pope glory and that fire and the passion that she has, I would love for her to play me. Yeah.
All right. So we will put a word into Carrie.
Thank you.
To do your your movie that she'll be playing you, and Michelle Obama will make a cameo appearance.
Oh, that would be super. Just put all that together for me. Thank you so much.
Right. Well, thank you, Tonya, so much. It's been a wonderful conversation, and we appreciate you being here. And we strongly encourage everyone to pick up a copy of Diane's Heart. It will make you smile. It feels like a great big giant hug, and something that everybody needs right now in the world. So.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you both. This has been a great opportunity. I do not take it lightly. I do think that everything that happens is purposed. So I pray that great things happen as a result of our conversation today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all the great work that you do.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.